Hey guys, welcome back. Another week building the Camel. She's looking pretty. Fuselage is tucked away in the tent here. This week we're going to work on the center wing, see how far we get, hopefully get it covered. Thanks for watching. Thanks to those who all jumped on board recently. Hope you enjoy the video. We'll continue building, see what happens. Alright, just to quickly address a few things from the last video. A lot of discussion on this particular part here. So I've put the elevator at neutral and it actually takes the load off a little bit, so you can get my hand under there quite easily. I still might back the cable off a bit, just for that reason, but in flight the load's taken off. When I'm showing that, it's full down elevator. That was anticipated. Yes, I could have put a pulley up higher or something like that. I just preferred the direct route, and I actually like it. It's a Camel thing. The cables rub. They also rub on the machine guns when that gets done up the front there, the flying wires. But is it finished? I'm not sure. I don't know. Will I add some bits? Sure. I could put a pulley or a phenolic or drill something on there, but I want it to remain authentic. So if I have to change the patch every so often, so be it, but that's the way it is. I'll monitor the cable, obviously. Looking at it now, I think what I'll do is take the weight of the elevator and then I'll set my cable tensions. I think they're down as low as 20 pounds on the cruiser. These were 30, 35 from memory, or that might have been these ones. So they could potentially be backed off a bit. Someone else mentioned leather patch on the panel. Yeah, probably could have done that. I'm quite happy with the way that is at the moment. You don't see it anyway. Okay, the other thing was, hey, you need to jack your aircraft up to get it level, to get this longeron level. Well, it's 2024, guys. All you need to do is get your digital level on there, hit calibrate, reference, and it's now 0. So you don't have to jack the tail up. So that's now taken as 0. So for argument's sake, if I now put this on the firewall, I haven't done this, but that should be 90 degrees. There you go, 89.1, near enough. 89 degrees. Maybe if I roll it around, 89.3. So if we work within a degree, so you see how that works. That'll remain at 0. If I put that back on there, that'll be near enough to 0. That's 0.3 of a degree, which is next to nothing. Thickness of a paint. Sitting on a weld. There you go, 0. So that's 0, that's my reference. Now I put this on the tail plane and I believe I'm about, let's put it out here, 2.5 degrees, something like that. 2 degrees. So I'm 2 degrees positive at the moment. 2.1. Okay, on the wing, just going through and drilling the holes all on top here for the rib stitching. This is my jig, if you like, just an off-centered bit of whatever, our angle, with a hole in it, reinforced bit of ply. And I was using it without the plywood and the brass tube, so I've just overnight glued that in. And that slides on, slide along, and just helps me find centre, because you've got to do quite a few of these holes on every wing rib bar the root. All right, so on the centre wing, I've drilled all my holes on the top surface. If you notice, I haven't got a bottom rib on every second one, so there's only three bottom ribs plus the 2 root ribs. Missing 2 because of what's occurring here. Made up a stay. This does 2 things: stops the vertical crush and also the in and out. So I just ran those across to the compression strut, nice and strong. Fitted my landings, if you like, for the covering, purely for the covering. It also aids with the squash down, and around the nose as well. I just take the opportunity to fluff it up with this thing, make it coarse for the glue. Now it's almost time to, well, I need to flip it over and drill the other holes. Then I think it's nearly time to wrap it in fabric. I just need to work out what I'm going to do for my aileron cable exit. I might run another piece with a decent hole in it. I think I'll do that rather than do a doily and a big hole. I'll do that now. Alright, so I'm just going to make a panel up there with a slot in it for the aileron cable, which is here. It's obviously going to droop. This is one of those jobs, I'm not going to know if it's okay until the final fit and the aircraft's all together. So, better off to make it big, you know, way too big. You don't want the shackle, if you like, where I connect the ailerons cable. You know, if it was just clipping, it means when the aircraft's together, I either pull it all apart just to do a little, you know, file job, or I have to get a Dremel in there and try and, you know, working through one of those access hatches. So, yeah, I just want to be a little bit careful. I'll do a big slot. I don't know how you go with airflow getting in there, but anyway, we'll make plenty of clearance. Okay, so this is how we roll. I've got the aileron cable, which is take there. That's going to be positioned there somewhere and moving. Hindsight, I probably shouldn't have put the join of the cable on the join of the wing. It's going to live there going back and forth. So I've had a rethink. I was going to do something like that, but what I'm thinking now is the cable could potentially snag an edge one day. Probably down, you know, if it droops down over time or goes forward for some reason. It'd only have to happen once, and I think you'd spoil your breakfast. So, you know, if you're flying along and you felt, you know, it just sort of, just that, would be enough for a bit of a fright. So, I think what I'll do is cover the root rib and make a cardboard oval shape, you know, for the fabric, and that way if it was to ever catch, it'll just bust through and you haven't got a cable rubbing on metal if it was to rub. It's going to be sort of hard. You can inspect this, but you can't keep an eye on it, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's going to be, you'll have to do the same on the wing that plugs on here, on the main top wings. Top left, top right wing will be a mirror image of this. So I think I'll do it out of cardboard into the fabric. We'll do that. Or just cut a hole in the fabric and put a doily. Okay, centre wing. Just been standing there quietly talking to a mate. Taped up everything, drilled all the holes, cables are ready to go. Everywhere there's a potential, it's like hockey tape all over it. Now I've decided I'm going to cover the root ribs first. I might make it easy and just do from there to there, straight down here and back. And then the top covering can come down and give me my 1 or 2 inch overlap. I'll have to research that, rather than try and get the top surface down and around and just give me a wall to glue to. So I'll go ahead and get that done. Then we'll cut the main piece. Okay, centre wing. Got a bit carried away, but I've done the perimeter glue everywhere. And I decided to seal the root rib. It's knock off time now. So tomorrow I'll do the other one. So I've kept all my scraps. I haven't used any. This is all the fabric I have left, like cut-offs. I keep them all because that's worked out well, just out of the scrap box. I cheated a bit and just did between the spars and cut it straight off. Did that bit. I'll put a doily on here when it's done. Top edge will come down, tapes and everything else. So that's the root rib. Just enough heat to get the wrinkles out for now until we get it all glued on. Then tomorrow we'll come into the root rib at the other end, bottom skin, top skin. I'd like to think I'd have the covering on tomorrow. You can see around the bolt heads, it's going to get a bit funky. That's all right. And also, I have to work out, it's a 4-inch tape and a 3-inch tape on the trailing edge. So that tells me I need a 3-inch overlap here and a 2-inch overlap at the back. You just need to work out, you know, for cosmetics, I guess, where it's going to stop and start. So my bottom skin will come around up to about here, and then I'll mark, what did I say, 3 inches around, and then a 4-inch tape should cover all of that. What I learned in doing the fuselage is you'll see the fabric that's under fabric. You can't hide too much, which is fine. Bear in mind, top surface of this wing is going to be way up there above my head, 9 or 10 feet in the air. We've got a good bead of glue. I'll let that dry up, and we'll come in tomorrow. I'm really keen to get into it, but we'll wait till tomorrow. Okay, as the airport comes to life, laid the fabric on the bottom surface of the centre wing, pegged it out. Now I'll just go across. I like to do the centre, the corners, just pull it tight. Then we'll get a coat of glue around the perimeter and tighten it down. Alright, slow and steady wins the race. Fabric's on the bottom. I'm just tacking the edge. So I've wet this down, I'll trim this off. Consideration is given to I need a 3-inch overlap of the material with a 4-inch tape on the front to finish that job off. I basically get everything on. The reason I flipped it over, you can see here, so I've got a good, pardon me, I've got a good inch of fabric on the bottom, so the top skin will come over, give us an inch there, 2 inches under the bottom with a 3-inch tape. I'll worry about this later, I'll probably slot all that. And then I'll have to do the same on the tips, fold that around, then I can shrink it up. I don't like to shrink it too early because you don't want the edges to pull off. That's what it's going to. And I just use my model engines, model flight hobby iron. Going well. Nice new blade for every cut. Helps a lot. And wetting that edge really helps as well. Okay, 4 edges all done. Got my curve nicely done, just drying. Iron down the edges, I've got a good seam. Going to hit that now with a 250 Fahrenheit iron and pull that down nicely. And that'll probably do for that side until I get the other side done. The root ribs still aren't taut, if you like. I don't want to pull it too far out of shape. Looking good so far. It's a good fun process, this. Get the impression here it's not going to shrink up. The temptation is to crank the iron up, but I'll follow the book. Let's go at 250. A lot of area there, I guess. All right, bottom skin is on, and just I gave it a 250 shrink just to tighten it up a little bit without going too bananas. It's time to go home. I've just put a layer of glue ready for tomorrow. I've worked out my leading edge overlaps. I thought it was 3-inch. One of my mates in the opposite hangar there has just brought me in this book here, Cessonite, whatever, covering book, which gives me a step-by-step. So, 4-inch tape and down the back. I won't say exactly what I'm doing because that's open to criticism. So you've got an overlap at the front, overlap at the back. Got the goo, leftover glue or goo. I've put a bead on, ready for tomorrow. So that'll dry up nicely, allow me to roll the fabric out again. This wasn't too bad a job in there, worked out quite nicely. It'll end up with tape over tape. There'll be a bias tape in there, no doubt. But the covering process is quite enjoyable actually. Takes a fair bit of time. You think that's just 4 corners, but I'm going to shrink it right down. I'll work out this time whether I do the wash first and then put the tapes on, because as you know I like it to stick to the ribs, and then punch all the holes, etc. So, use the leftover glue. I just sacrifice this. These brushes are about, you get 50 for 30 bucks on Amazon. Fantastic, because you don't have to clean brushes. Throw the lot out. I've seen the trick where you cut the cup off, whatever. But the extra glue, I made a certified joint for my cup, ready for tomorrow. This will go in the bin. Good use of glue. No wastage, not a lot. And I started marking out my inspection rings, as well as I'll just bite the bullet and put one on there. It'll go on there for the aileron cable, and one down in there to get him to do the aileron cable up when the wings are assembled. Back to my notes that I made before. So I've got the 4 panels, aileron join cable, and for the aileron control. That's all I need on the centre wing, which is good. Fabric should come in for the struts. Over here, what have I got going on? A friend and I just knocking up. I had a spare battery at home from my car actually, but it charged up okay, so making a jump start cart with the leads, Anderson plug, jumper leads. That'll all be on a cart. I'll put it on a solar panel in the corner somewhere in the hangar. So I've got a 12 volt jump start cart ready to go in the hangar, just in case you need it for your aircraft, your car. I'm pretty sure I'll probably wear out the starter motor duty cycle on the Rotec trying to get it started, so, or it may need extra power. So there we are today with the centre wing. So I've got the cables just zip tied there, make sure they're through the hole or can come back out of the hole. Looking good. Alright guys, so back on the elevator. I do listen to what people say, and you're right, this is, you know, needs a bit of work. So I'll drop in here just the build notes, I guess. Here's a little video.
Here's a walk around to the Camel. We get requests this a lot of times. You can see the wire brace, tail braces. This goes to the top of the fin. Goes down here. The elevator cables on the Camel will always ride right along the top edge. In fact, we've got a piece of leather we've been moving around. It sets on this leather here. The front of the fin, there's a tube in here. It supports the front of the fin.
Okay, so what are my options? I could do this is what I'm thinking. Like a saddle clamp. This one's too big, obviously. I can make a saddle clamp So I can slit a bit of brake tube. I haven't got the lights on in the tent, guys. Power bill's getting out of hand, and I share the hanger with 3 other people, but I get the bill. So it's a bit rude to ask them to pay for my heaters and everything. Anyway, I will turn the lights on in a minute. So I'll put a bit of brake line on there, a bit of tube. Then I need to hold it. I don't have to hold it down necessarily because the cable's doing that. I just need to stop it from going fore and aft. So I can rub it in some of that spy wrap, and I could put a saddle clamp, you know, over the top, a smaller version of that, paint it black, and potentially rivet it on. My issue with what I'm thinking, if I rivet it on and you need to change it, the rivets are going to end up inside and you've got to get a rivet out. So maybe self-tappers, so it can be changed or serviced or whatever. If I bought a little plastic TV one or something, like a little cable guide from Bunnings or somewhere, already done, the plastic's probably going to get destroyed with UV, so I'm better off to spend the time make it out of aluminium. Or I made up this little test piece, just lock wide through the leather, because I'm thinking ahead. I need to be able to service this, or, you know, get it on and off without, you know, I could drill straight through the spar out the other side, try and get a lock wire through, down, around, back up, and lock wire just the tube onto what I've got there at the moment, which may be an option, which I only get one shot at these sort of things, and because the aircraft's finished, I don't want to go drilling too many holes. So I think the safe way to go is just contact cement this piece on, so it'll look something like that, which is not too bad. But what I'll do, while I'm covering the centre wing, I'll make up some of these. That looks pretty good too, I think. So I'll make a smaller version of that. And if I use self-tappers, and then to stop see, I've wrapped this one with some of that bi-seal, because all I'm really trying to do is stop the fore and aft. You don't want to walk with the cable. So there you go, guys. I'll get back to that and let you know what I end up with. Now, just before I cover the top wing, I'm going to, by popular demand, I'm going to replace the pan jute straps with my wax string. And also, I think in future I'll just make a leather thing for in there. But for now, I'll change it to my wax string. Good idea, whoever mentioned that. Right, top skin, top fabric, rough cut, ready to go on. There's no way I've got enough fabric to do 8 wing skins. So I'll keep an eye on that and order some more when I need it. It's a bit disappointing when the kit says you got enough. But anyway, I may have, but we'll find out. All right, so I got the perimeter glued down. Everything's just very baggy at the moment. That's okay. Get the wrinkles out as best you can. And I just glue the perimeter down. Well, I'm not making this up, I just follow the plan. I'm going to flip it over and do the trailing edge on the underneath, and I'll probably finish off the leading edge, roll it right under and glue it right on the tips. You know, the drill we marked down 1 inch, wet it out, cut it off, glue it down. Should get onto the tapes later today, or the rivets, rivet holes first. See how we go. It's nice to get it in one piece, doesn't look as busy. Just looks like a wing now. Nice. This is where I just fold the fabric over. You can see I've got a nice glue line. Fold the fabric over, then just mark it with pencil. Then I'll pull this down, wet that out, cut it off, and then glue it down. So basically that'll end up all nice along there. And then we put a 4-inch tape along the leading edge. Just get a good glue joint. I like to have it all locked away before I tighten everything down. See, the bottom surface is looking good with that initial shrink. But we'll get this leading edge tidied up and wet out the trailing edge at the same time. Put the kettle on, come back and cut it. Here's a good example of why we pre-glue the edge, and when it's not glued you end up with all the whiskers, I guess. So it's worth taking the time and just gluing the edge. I'll trim that up a little bit more, got a few dags, but good. Okay, it's nice to get an edge cleaned up, so that's ironed down. Now I'll come back with the glue and finish that off, and then it'll be a nice finished leading edge. Then with the tape, I need a 4-inch tape over the lot. I'm not sure about these panels, whether I should cut them now and fold it all in. I think I'll go to full shrink, then it can't move anymore and I'm not pulling on the frame of these, like this frame here. I'll let the fabric slide to where it wants to be, and then we'll stick it down to these guys and tuck it in. Then I think I'll refit the panels at the same time, at least recover the holes. Okay, all sealed up. Just waiting for the glue to dry. A couple little puckers, the glue's still wet. Then I can iron that edge down, and we'll come in and do our 3 shrinks up to full shrink. I think we're ready for that. Hopefully it doesn't distort too much. I'll do top and bottom at the same time. It's surprising how many times I've had to turn the wing over, so it'll be interesting with the main wings. But it's not too bad on your own. Stand on the leading edge and flop it over, and you can sort of, you can pick it up one-handed and pivot it around. So yeah, I'll shrink that down. Then it's time for, tapes, rivet holes, rivets, flip it over and do the panels on the bottom as well as the doilies. I'll put some doilies just here and there. I found it handy to keep track back in my book of plans. I forgot to write down I need a drain hole in every bay. I noticed some aircraft are in that book. They just glue the washer on, no doily. But I think I'll do the doily, it'll stay on. When a Tiger Moth taxied in the other day, and I noticed it had seaplane drain holes, and a couple of them were broken off, just gone because they didn't have doilies on. The tube doilies, which is what I just said, around the 4 spars, I'll just neaten that up with should be fairly easy just to cut a 2-inch hole and then make a shape. The 4 panels underneath will all get a doily, if you like, around here. So what I might do is just do a big square, glue it on, and then cut it out and fold it all in together. The aileron controls and access holes to do up the aileron linkage. So I'll get those done. And then what do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tapes, 3 on the bottom, just 8 tapes on this bit. Then the process will be 2 coats of the wash. We'll go into the tent. So what will happen is this will go into the tent. I'll put the wheels on the Camel, come around and park it here, and it's going to get serious. I got over here on the couch, I got my wood grain vinyl from the sign writer, not cheap, 1200 by 2.4. There's my wood grain, proper 3M wrap to go on my wing struts. Probably making you guys seasick. On my wing struts, what I might do in areas like this, I might take them off again and just give myself a little bit more room in there. What I'd like to be able to do is wrap a bit of black tape just to finish it off. But we'll see how that goes. Because the plan is these will get wrapped, that'll be painted, and then these will get bolted on, however they go. On the bottom, obviously, they get bolted on, and then I'll fit then the wing will get fitted to the fuselage. Then I can build the cabin forward. I thought I'd sort of have time to do some covering and work on the fuselage, but you sort of just get engrossed into one job. So if you are going to start covering, that's taken me, so that's, say, let's call it a 6 foot, well, it's probably an 8 foot wing, and it's one shape, 1.5 sessions, so about 9 hours to get to that stage. Probably about that much glue, half a cup, a little cup there, and I use a wet rag. Wet rag's good. One, for washing your hands straight away, get the glue off. You can see I've been working and got next to no glue, a little bit, but next to no glue on my hands, which is great. And the wet rag goes over that. And in the fridge, on top of the Carlton dry stubbies, I've got my 3-to-1 mix. That's been in there for a few days now. I just keep it in there, so when I need it. All right. One more shrink on this side, so I'm doing 3 at 320. The iron fluctuates a bit, so 300 for an ultralight, 350 for a certified aircraft, so 320 seems okay. Just keeping an eye on like my trailing edge, just to make sure it's not getting pulled out of shape too much this way, or like twisty ways. They have, the root rib has tightened up a bit, sucked in a bit, as I expected. It's amazing the force on some of this stuff. You can see the curve on that. It was already curved, but just pulling it in nice and tight and snug. The ones on the side are just purely to keep the air out, so they're okay. So I've done 3 on the top. Well, I did a 250, a 300, and then 3 at 320. Now I'm doing 3 at 3, the third one at 320, letting it cool down. Doesn't take too long in between irons. I'll iron this down and call that shrunk. Then it's doily time. I definitely have moments where I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing. I'm not sure if I should do the wash on the whole wing, then do the tapes. There's 2 different ways to do it. I like to do the tapes first so the glue actually gets, put the glue on so it gets to the rib, and then put the tape on. And then I've just done these, so I want to tuck those in. Cut them out, tuck them in. Not sure if that's the right thing to do at the moment, although I've finished the shrink. So securely glue the perimeter, and I should be able to tuck those in. That's the plan. And then I'll put the 4 doilies on here. Got my drain hole. Hopefully the reinforcing tape won't save me a doily now. The tape will go over the drain hole, which is clever, I think. And I've got to make those 4 as well. Onto the inspection rings. This time I'm playing it a bit smarter. I haven't put glue on top of the ring, if you can see. So I've put the doily over. I'm just paying more attention to that inside edge. So glue on the inside, glue on the outside, because the iron will shrink that down. And then the whole thing will get another coat of glue. So I'm just trying a different technique, if you like. Just rub that edge in. I found with glue up on top of the ring, it just gets a little bit out of hand. And I can run the iron around now, once this sets, and clean it up. And this top bit will shrink down. Beautiful. All right, a lot of work in this. That's all right, slow and steady. Got the tapes on, and then the rivets, ready to pull the rivets for the rib stitching. Only 3 ribs on the bottom. I've omitted this rib here because it gets busy. I decided that when it was up on the wing, and it's actually in the plans to miss a rib. On the main wings I didn't. Still got plenty of, it's nice and taut. I've just gone through and recovered the holes with the soldering iron for my panel. I think what I was meant to do was put the frame on the outside and fold the fabric up and over and then put a doily on the top. So I folded it in, but it's very hard now to seal that. So what I might do is glue some plywood with epoxy on the inside, just 1/8 inch ply. It'll do two things. It'll hold the fabric, like clamp the fabric like a cheese sandwich, and give the self-tappers just a bit more to go into. It's glued on. I just rub some glue on with my finger, but I really love to get the iron in there and make a certified joint, as I keep saying. At the front, I've got a nice flange along there, so that'll iron on nicely. Just some plywood on the sides where it's tucked under. Because what happens is the screws will push the fabric off, if that makes sense. So I will just cut some plywood there and there on the front, and probably 4 bits on the back. Yeah, I'll do the long edges as well. Get all those glued on, and I'll run some tapes. Still need to do a face piece in here, and then probably 2 tapes, 2 bias tapes. Not sure, I might be able to get away with the 2 tapes may overlap, not sure. And then trailing edge tape as well. They'll go on after I've done the same to the top surface. Alright, slow and steady. Got half those plywood blocks, just 5-minute araldite, glue those in. I've pre-stained the wood, make it waterproof. What is good to do is draw your lines where your tapes are going to go. You can see here my 4-inch, my leading edge tape will come up to this line. This tape will come down to here, roughly 2 inches for the glue. About to pop the rivets, and we'll lay these tapes on. You can work out, obviously this goes under that one. And then I'll work out what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do probably a bias tape on the root rib. Oh no, I won't, I don't think. I think I'll just iron down. I'll do the old trick of just glue half of it and then iron the other half down. You're not meant to iron the tapes, but on an edge like that, pretty sure that's what I'll do. And I'll try and capture the drain holes. And what else have I got to do? Oh, in here, and then do some tapes. Just clean up that mess a bit. And then we'll run some edge tapes around that as well. I won't do the leading edge and trailing edge until I've got the top surface up to the same standard. So do all the cross ones if you like, and then the last job will be the perimeter tape. Alright, just putting the wash on. You don't underestimate the time that takes. What am I, 1/4 of the way through? 3-to-1 glue and water. Just brush that on and I'll call it a day, I think. It needs a good, that'll be the bottom surface done. Just needs a good time to dry. You know the drill. Wash this on, iron the tapes, and brush it on again, another coat. I've still got to do the leading and trailing edge tapes once I do the top. Alright guys, we might wrap that video up there. It's probably getting a bit long in the tooth. Continue building, and I'll just continue the next video straight on after this. Thanks for watching.